There we go. I waited a little bit. I know Fred's been waiting for the LaFleur, but I wanted to get a couple other people in here because you can see the majesty that is the LaFleur. Thank you for the 5 people that got here early. That is an exclusive to our early bird risers. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Let's get this party started.
To never make it, hopeless so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta dreams, sometimes you gotta take a loss. And yo, the lies told that you never make it, hopeless so it seems. Eyes closed, candles open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me, it's never this way. We indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity. It's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Hey, my morning boy, let's go. Yeah, it gets me all fired up. I love that song. I love that song. I don't know about you, but that song gets me all fired up every single time that I hear it. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen, to the Lion Villain Report. It is August the 30th, and it is time for the Villain Report. We're going into the last weekend without football for like, what, 6 months? Seems like we don't have to worry about not having a football game to talk about. This is amazing. So welcome to the Lion Villain Report. We're broadcasting live right now into the Lion Villain Squad Facebook page right here. 52,000, approaching 53,000. Hit that follow button, hit that like button, share this content to people that love Detroit Lions football. if you can do that. And let's get to 53,000 by the time the season starts. Thank you, villains, right there. We're also broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions news podcast right there. Thank you to Joe Chapp and the boys for putting out good Detroit Lions content. We appreciate you guys letting us go into your platform. We're also on YouTube. We have the Lions Villain Squad YouTube page, as well as we're broadcasting live into JC Sports right there. That subscribe button helps us. So if you like football content, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. As a matter of fact, hit the like button on whatever platform that you're watching right now, and that helps the page, and we appreciate that. And it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. We're also broadcasting live into the NFL Huddle Sports Network on Roku. That's run by Bill the Packer fan and Mike the Bear fan. And you know what? Because we believe in our core values, which is faith, family, and football, we can work with Packer fans. We can work with Bear fans and Viking fans because we love the people. I love Bill the Packer fan. I love Mike the Bear fan. As people, I just think your team sucks. It's okay because we put faith, family, and then football in that order. And that way, I don't have to hate on you. I can just hate on your team. So welcome to the program. To everybody that is out there right now, make sure that you join the conversation, most importantly, because I love questions. I love being able to have a conversation with you. My pea brain will come up with some topics that we're going to talk about, but really, I like you guys to be able to drive the conversation right here. And no matter what team that you follow, mostly Lions fans on here, the Lion Villain Report, we are the villain of the NFC North. And what does that mean? Because so many people say, I don't want to be the villain. Okay, you don't have to be the villain. We just embodied this thing. How did we become the villain? How did we come up with Villain Squad? Well, I'll tell you what it didn't have anything to do with. It had nothing to do with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and that ski mask BS. We were the Villain Squad before Chauncey Gardner got here. And we became the villain when Brad Holmes came to OTAs last year. And we had just lost our Facebook page. We built a Facebook page up called The Main Event 365, and it got shut down because of, we have to learn some of our hard lessons right there. But Brad Holmes comes into OTAs last year with the shirt on that said he was the villain. Didn't define it, didn't say anything about it. We just picked it up and ran with it. It was like a blast in the face. And I was like, yeah, let's run with that. So we developed our page based off of one little Brad Holmes interview last year. And they've been doing some more with the villain between now and then, but we've kind of taken this thing and ran with it. And when it comes to being a villain, it's not because we're bad people or we want to be bad people. It's because when you're the best in your division, that teams are going to hate you, that they're going to hate you. You're going to have a target on your back. It's actually a good thing to become the villain of the NFC North. You got 3 targets on your back. What we really want to do is become the villain of the entire NFL, like Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs are. So being a villain isn't about being a bad guy. It's about the haters going to be hating, and they can sit out there and they can run their mouth. Oh, it's your first champion. It's the first time you won a division in 30 years. It's like, whatever. I don't care. That's a yippee yappy. You're just yapping your yapper. It don't matter. You can hate on it. You're just jealous. If you're hating on it, you're just jealous because you didn't win the NFC North last year. That you wanted your team to take the next step forward and to be a good team. And now this team is a Super Bowl contender. Dan Campbell gets here, goes 3-13-1, and then starts the second season 1-6. And you could see the switch flip on. And if you didn't see it, then you ain't looking hard enough. You could see it happen right in that Buffalo Bills loss on Thanksgiving, that this team was going to be different going forward with the young core and everything that they got going on right here. And what they did in this offseason just solidified that. It just solidified that. So let's get into these comments. Let's say hello to everybody. Fred Peterson, you're always here right off the get right here. Ever since, we really started going to the 5-day-a-week thing, he's been here every single time. We appreciate your support, Fred. and you're here before the YouTube promo even drops right there. And I made sure you are awesome, Fred, from the Villain Squad. And everybody here at the Villain Squad, you are awesome. Davey, you're awesome too. You got here one pride here before the YouTube promo. And then the YouTube promo comes in right there, Lions Villain Squad. Jeremy B was the first one to come in after the YouTube promo. Good morning, good sir. Good show last night on you don't bite kneecaps anymore. I think that you got you're turning into like a legitimate podcast, and I don't know if you like using the kneecap biting stuff anymore, but throw your football your podcast football name in there, because I want to make sure people go out there. I'm not sure what you're calling it right now. If you're still calling it kneecap biting with Motor City Lions, that's fine. We'll keep promoting that for you right there. Fred Peterson, I support the channel, and you guys content, always look forward to the show. We love talking football. And I think that the most important thing about any type of podcast or anything is that we're consistent. We are consistent. We say we show up when we say we're going to show up, and that gives, it gives people a chance to get involved in it. Because if you're always canceling shows because things don't go your way, then people don't want to watch your show. I believe in that. I believe that consistency is the key to this, and we want to be consistent every morning, 10 a.m. Villain Squad, Villain Report, right here with your boy Russell Wayne. Good morning, Dwayne. Good morning. I don't even know if I'm hoping the Macho Man makes an appearance today. Okay. Is that J-I-K? Is that J-I-K? I don't know what I'm supposed to call you right there. Maybe I have to think of a nickname, but let me see if the Macho Man has anything to say about that. Oh, yeah, the Macho Man doesn't need to know how to say anybody's name, dig it? Yeah, the Macho Man's gonna come in, and then, like the Detroit Lions, going to the top rope, brother, and gonna drop a Macho Man elbow right there in the heart of the NFC North. Yeah, because the cream always rises to the top, and the Detroit Lions are the cream of the NFC North. Dig it? Yeah. Ooh, yeah. There's your Macho Man right there. It's nice to know that the Macho Man likes to, from the grave, he likes to give some props to the Detroit Lions, even though he's from Sarasota, Florida. Oh, gosh, here we go. More comments in here. The channel is that. Okay, so he is still the kneecap biting with Motor City Lions right there. I didn't know if you wanted to keep going with the kneecap biting thing. I thought, I didn't know if you were still going to try to change that or not, but that's fine. I like kneecap biting, because that's what on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off. I remember when you made your channel and you had that kneecap biting and got biting a Green Bay Packer leg that was ripped off. But maybe that's a little bit too much for some of the people that are out there. You're worried about depth at wide receiver at all? Let's see. I don't know about these old guys are the answer, but we shall see. The old guys on the practice squad. Are you talking about the old guys that are on the practice squad? We talking about practice? We talking practice? Practice? I'm not worried about the wide receiver depth at all. Not one bit, because what are we talking about? The fourth wide receiver here? Now, we've been through this before, Chance. Like, is it the fourth wide receiver? Is that the fourth passing option in the game? It's not. The fourth wide receiver is going to be the sixth, maybe even the seventh passing option on this team. Now, Brad Holmes spoke to the media yesterday, Chance, and one of the things that he brought up, they asked him the exact same question, and he said that he would be a lot more worried about the wide receiver being a pass catcher if he didn't have, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Jared Goff, Brock Wright and Sam Laporta, and other guys that don't necessarily play the wide receiver position, Ben Johnson is a genius of getting people the ball in space. And we have so many playmakers on this team. I mean, you could even put Sion Vaki, the rookie. They're going to put packages in for him. So I'm not worried about the wide receiver depth at all. They only kept 4 wide receivers on the main roster. And these old guys that they brought in, this old guy, Allen Robinson, who's he? You know, what he is a 6'2" wide receiver that is the big body X that, you know, you're not asking him to come in and be Allen Robinson of old. You're asking him to come in and, you know, catch a couple balls as a big wide receiver. I mean, he's not going to be catching 13 balls a game or anything. I don't think they expect him. They didn't put him on the practice squad to do that. I think Allen Robinson is really here because he offers a plethora of experience to our young wide receiver core. And yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown is still young. You don't think that Amon-Ra St. Brown can learn something from Allen Robinson? Allen Robinson used to kill the Lions back in the day. Now, I know that he's not the same receiver. He's not gonna go out there and you know and get 14 targets a game. He doesn't need to, because you got Amon-Ra St. Brown and you got Jamison Williams and you got Khalif Raymond, are 3 high quality, nice receivers that any team in the NFL would love to have on their team. Any of them, even Khalif Raymond. Like, you can troll Khalif Raymond all you want, but just look at the production. Yeah, he doesn't get the stats because he doesn't get the ball as much, but the dude catches everything that is thrown at him. So is the 3rd wide receiver, and then we're talking about the 4th. You bring Isaiah Williams in as the 4th option because he earned it. Like, let's not dismiss Isaiah Williams because he won a spot on the 53-man roster and you don't know who he is as much. So I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking directly at you. I'm just saying in general, Chance. I have your comment up there. Don't think that I'm going after you on this. Let's see. Hello to Buddy. What's up, Buddy? What's up, Buddy? Oh, yeah, the Swedish name. Yeah, all right. That's what I'm talking about. As long as we have Coach Campbell, it will stay the same. Scott Harrison says, go Lions. Jeremy says, I say tomorrow, Allen Park, 4-man, last man, standing steel cage match, no DQs. That's how they're going to figure out the wide receiver depth. I like that. You like that? I like that. A little steel cage match. Let's see who can make who's going to be that 5th wide receiver. Tables, ladders, and chairs. All my wrestling fans in here, I love you guys. If you like wrestling, I have a wrestling page called WrestleMania Pro Wrestling Talk, and I got to rebrand that name. WrestleMania I might keep because that's something that means something to me. My cousins, when I was a teenager, used to call me WrestleMania because I would dress up in Ultimate Warrior tassels and try to jump off the top rope on people when I was a teenager. So my whole family used to call me WrestleMania, and that's kind of just a show of respect to my family, the Metlers in Ohio. I love you guys. I miss you guys. Don't get to see you guys as much as I want to, but I do pay tribute to you on my wrestling page, the WrestleMania Pro Wrestling Talk. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can bring this thing up so you guys can see what page it looks like right here. So let me get in here. WrestleMania Pro Wrestling Talk. There I am. Me being the digital creator, and I don't know. They got a pay-per-view going on this weekend. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to broadcast that thing live out through the YouTube page because it was kind of scary showing the game before. I don't really want to lose my YouTube page. I didn't because I deleted it so fast. But Let's take a look at this right here. Here's my page right there, WrestleMania Pro Wrestling Talk. If you're into wrestling, I always like to move, wrestling and Lions talk together because I love being the heel. I love doing impressions of old school wrestlers that you probably don't even know who are anymore. So I appreciate anybody that goes and follows that page right there. Yeah, WrestleMania Pro Wrestling Talk. Good morning, villains. Jonathan Haidt, WrestleMania. You like that? You like that? I worry about Amon-Ra or JMO to go down. I mean, sure, I get that. I'm sure that the Minnesota Vikings, they don't want Addison or Justin Jefferson to go down either. Nobody wants their top two guys to go. And I'm sure that the San Francisco 49ers don't want to lose Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. I mean, the things that you're worried about right now, Chance, are the same things that all 32 teams are worried about. Every single team is worried about injuries. Of course you don't want injuries. We don't want to get an injury to Jared Goff right off the bat. We don't want any of these injuries. Nobody wants to have injuries. So, but I'm not in the habit of talking about the injuries so much to the point, well, these guys are going to be injured because they were injured. If that's the case, then all 53 guys are going to get injured because everybody gets injured. Jeremy B says, it's Smoking Mom's 73rd birthday. I'll do my best here. Smoking Moms. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Smoking Mom. Smoking Jeremy B's mom. Happy 73rd birthday to you. And many more. There you go. Happy birthday to Smoking Jeremy B's mom. Good morning, Paul Jones. Jeremy B says, sometimes I do a decent Hulk Hogan. That's right, brother. What are you going to do? What you going to do when the Detroit Lions run wild on you? They're going to have to. Yeah, they are. The WWE already broke the Pontiac Silverdome. You remember that. You remember that back in the day for sure. But let's see what else we got here. I want to talk a little bit about this QB2 thing. I mean, how are you feeling about QB2? I think that they made a giant statement keeping Hendon Hooker at QB2. And honestly, it's one of those calculated risks, in my opinion. Because it is a risk, because I believe that if Jared Goff went down week 1, that we would be in trouble. We would be in trouble. Hendon Hooker is not 100% ready to take the reins yet. I think he could come in and spell for a little while, but if you asked him to come in and try to win a game, I don't think that he would be ready for that yet, week 1. But if you ask me the same question week 7, week 8, I think that this was a developing quarterback, and he got noticeably better during the preseason. I mean, you're talking not just from week to week. I mean, even from series to series, you could see the game slowing down for him as far as decision making, going through all of his reads, not getting too jumpy with the ball. And I do believe that's the reason why Nate Sudfeld didn't even make the practice squad. And it wasn't Hendon Hooker beating out Nate Sudfeld that gave me this. It was the fact that they kept Jake Fromm on the practice squad and didn't bring Nate Sudfeld in, even on the practice squad. That showed me that they have a lot of confidence in Hendon Hooker going forward to run the offense. And by the end of this year, we're all going to be talking about how he could be a starting level quarterback in this league, because he's going to go through an entire year taking all of the number 2 reps. Because that's something that you have to understand from last year, that even when he got done with the ACL rehab and he came back and he was taken off the pup list, he never took reps. He didn't take practice reps. Teddy Bridgewater was taking all of the reps, and rightfully so, because if you need somebody to actually come in and play in a game, you want the guy to actually be playing in the game. You know, Nate Sudfeld is not a guy that you would trust at any point in time in the game. I mean, he's never played well in a game. He offers a lot of value outside of, you know, in the game planning stuff, in the film room, carrying Jared Goff's bags and groceries into his house. Those are the types of things that make that Nate Sudfeld, and all that stuff is useful too. You know, anything to make it easier, right? But Hendon Hooker won that job. He won that job, and I'm thinking by week 7, week 8, he's going to be ready to run the offense on a decent level. Right now, it's dialed back, and he's doing what he can do. Right? They're giving it to him in the small increments, learning the offense and everything. And he showed the ability to make plays with his feet. And I've seen enough. Hopefully you guys have seen enough, because I know it's just preseason, but there's definitely two sides to that preseason thing. It isn't, well, he only played against number 3s, number 4s. And it's like, that's not a fair assessment unless you bring up the other side, meaning that his teammates that he was playing with were also 3s and 4s. You're playing with offensive linemen that are working back at the factory this week because they were cut from the team. You're playing with wide receivers that did not make a 53-man roster or a practice squad. He was playing with those guys too, and tight ends that didn't make the 53-man roster. So that thing works both ways. And I'm watching a poised quarterback that got more poise, didn't have happy feet, is an athletic quarterback. This is everything that we've been wanting out of a quarterback. I mean, if you didn't want Jared Goff and you're one of those like anti-Jared Goff people because he can't move, this is the most mobile quarterback that we've had in 20 years here. And he is the best thrower of the ball of any mobile quarterback that the Lions have had here in 20 years. I mean, you want to compare him to Mike McMahon? I mean, the Jared Goff has definitely got a way, way better arm than Hendon Hooker right now. But not even in throw power, but I'm just talking in accuracy, knowing the offense. There's no way that Hendon Hooker is going to take Jared Goff's job. But we don't need him to take Jared Goff's job. We need him to be a badass backup. We need him to be ready to go in there and win a game. And by the way, if he goes in, he isn't going to be playing with a factory worker or a grocery bagger with the offensive line and playmakers. He's going to be playing with Frank the Tank. He's going to have Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker in front of him and two badass running backs behind him and Amon-Ra St. Brown to throw the ball to that can get way more open. Jamison Williams to throw the ball to. It's not going to be Tom Kennedy. It's not going to be, Caden Davis or, whoever else they want to throw in off there to try to make the back end of the roster. When he plays, he's going to play with number 1s. They ain't going to be like, well, you're only the backup. We better throw Colby Sorsdahl out there. No, you're going to play with the starters. And guess what? It's probably going to be a shock to him, right? He's going to drop back the pass, and his inner clock's going to be going. It's like, man, these guys are still protecting. I still have time. Yeah, I'm on run. Like you're gonna see what it's like to run an offense where you ain't got to run for your life. And by the way, if has to run for his life, he can. So that's why he won the backup job. I'm very, very excited to have Jake Fromm as the practice squad guy because you can develop two quarterbacks at the same time. And right here, mark this, 8:30. This is August the 30th. Russell Wayne says this. When we get to this point next year in the training camp, when we're talking, as long as they don't trade Hendon Hooker before then, they are going to have people talking about Hendon Hooker eventually taking Jared Goff's job. Not that they haven't talked a little bit about it now because you developed this guy, but the talks aren't there right now. But he goes through another full year of development in the system. Then next year at this time, this is going to be a very, very valuable asset to the Detroit Lions. That's why they didn't go out and try to shop him this year. We want to develop these guys. Watch them. Watch how Brad Holmes turns a third-round pick into a guy that you could trade for a day one pick. You watch how this happens. And I don't even think they're going to do that. The thing is you've got Hendon Hookers. You have Hendon Hookers. Give me 1 second. I got to plug this thing in. And all right, there we go. I got my thing plugged in. So you have Hendon Hooker that is learning in the system. You want him to be right alongside with Jared Goff. Jared Goff gets a 4-year extension. Well, guess how long Hendon Hooker's contract goes to? It's parallel now, where you have your starter and your backup set for the next 3 years. They don't want to trade this guy. I know that the media, the clickbait media guys love to throw out, oh, they should go trade for Brandon Ayuk. Oh, they should trade Hendon Hooker. Oh, all these suitors. It's like, I don't believe in any of that stuff. Because we believe in draft and develop. You think that you want to whenever I see a trade proposal that's out there, that's a clickbaity guy right there, anytime they say, hey, trade for this known player, bring him here, and all we got to do is extend him and give him a bag of money and then he can stay. They're not going to do that. They'll never do that. Brad Holmes doesn't play like that. What type of message does that send to your locker room? Hey, if you work really, really hard here, we'll go trade for a different player that hasn't been working hard here, and we'll bring him here, and we're going to pay him. Yeah, screw your hard work. No, the Lions are going to give the biggest contracts in this organization to players that have been here. They have been at the practices. They have been on the practice squad, or they've been working out with the team since 2021. Those are the players that they paid. Oh, they need to bring in Brandon Ayuk, and then all they have to do is extend him. Well, what type of message does that send to Jameson Williams? What type of message does that send to Isaiah Williams and the guys that have been blood, sweat, and tears on our practice squad and on the team for 3 years? What message does that send to them when you pay somebody from the outside to come in and do what you've been working hard to get? They're not going to do that. I'm glad that you got a name. But if you bring a free agent from outside of the walls of Allen Park in here, it's going to be a lot like DJ Reader's deal or Davenport's deal. We're looking for bargain deals. And usually that comes with injury risk or some kind of other risk that goes along with it. But they're not going to pay top dollar for guys outside the walls of Allen Park. And I know that I was talking about Hendon Hooker right here, but it filters back into that. They're not going to trade one of the guys that they developed unless somebody comes in with an obscene offer. Like, they don't want to trade Hendon Hooker. They want to develop him and have him go for 4 years. And when they get to the end of Goff's contract, they're going to have a decision to make. We can either extend Goff, and if somebody comes in and says, hey, we'll give you a first and a second round draft pick for Hendon Hooker because he's ready to start in the league, then you got to do it. If you go from a third round pick player and you turn that around into a day one, day two pick, then you're playing the game. You're playing the general manager game. You're adding value to your players before you trade them. It's something Bill Belichick used to do all the time. You can, and the thing is, if they come in with that obscene offer, you gotta look at it. But if not, then you have your solid backup quarterback for the next 3 years. And he may not be solid week 1, 2, or 3, or 4, right? He needs more development. You don't want Goff to go down now, but they took a calculated risk, in my opinion, to keep Hendon Hooker as the number 2 quarterback and move forward. And they're betting that we're going to be able to develop him and get him ready to play meaningful snaps in the NFL. So, good morning, Villains and Lions family. What's up, Henry Gray? Main event Mike, One Pride in the house. David, I'm looking forward to seeing our new secondary against Stafford. Yeah, I like this. We got quite a few comments. Let me go back here. Okay, I remember that right there, Jeremy. Yeah, he likes the happy birthday. There we go. Great day. Enjoy. NFL isn't ready for Motor City Lions mania. Hooker's better than Suckfield. Yes, he is. He is. Hooker got better every drive overall. I agree with that. Man, wow, it's very rare. Usually I don't get too much agreement from Jeremy. He definitely won that job. I'm getting some agreements right here. Dan Campbell from Jeremy said the plan: develop Hooker to be the best backup QB ever. Why not? There's no reason to trade Hendon Hooker. It's like, oh, you got a good quarterback. Lions are so not used to having depth that they don't know what to do when they have it, right? You get depth, and you're like, we got these extra guys. We better trade them. We get some value for them. It's like, no, keep your good guys. Keep your good depth. Come on. Let's go. Brad Holmes extends the draft picks and the guys who make a difference. It's 100% true. And the thing is like, that's how you can read these, what I like to call the spam posts, the ones that talk about, we got to go trade and get, let's get Chase Young last year. Let's go get Chase Young. It's like, you have no idea what's going on in the practices. And the Lions' mind. So let's be real about this. In the Lions, the organization mind is we have these players that we're drafting and developing, right? And last year you had Lion fan going, oh my God, I wish they would go and make some moves at the trade deadline and trade their players for guys that we can have now that we're going to have a problem with at the end of the year. And they don't realize, like, I want Chase Young. You should trade for Chase Young. And in their mind, Josh Pascal might be a better player. Now, don't crucify me for that, but that's the way that the Lions regimes, that they think. They have more value for a guy like Josh Pascal or Levi Onwuzurike than bringing in some dude, Chase Young. And that's what it is. It's some dude. Okay, well, Chase Young had a good year like 3 years ago, and you better. It's like, well, don't you think there's a reason that Washington couldn't wait to get him out of the room? Don't you think there might be a reason for that? Don't you think there's a reason why the San Francisco 49ers, with all that cap room, didn't bring Chase Young back? How did that move work out for them? They got to the Super Bowl, but they didn't win the Super Bowl. So it's arguable whether you want to bring these guys in from the outside. And if you believe in that, that's fine. That's your opinion. You're entitled to that. But that is not what the Lions do. The Lions draft and develop player. They have more value for guys like Levi Onwuzurike or Josh Pascal or James Houston. These guys that have been in the system, these guys that know how Aaron Glenn, they already know. If you bring in, even like Danielle Hunter, if they would have brought in Danielle Hunter is awesome. He did a great job in Minnesota, but that doesn't mean that he's just going to come in here. He's still going to have to learn the defense. He's going to have to learn how Aaron Glenn attacks. He doesn't have to teach that to Houston, Levi, or Pascal. So you may not believe in these players like the regime does, but at some point in time, we got to trust these guys. And what have they done to make us not trust these guys? Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell. Well, you can't draft and develop and yeah, that's working. Show me some examples of where it didn't work. Where the Lions, show me an example of Brad Holmes bringing in an undrafted free agent or drafting a player where it didn't work. I mean, you had 5 minutes of being able to say, well, Jameer Jefferson, he didn't make the team. Well, he made the practice squad. There's Jameer Jefferson. There's our player. Well, Chase Lucas. He went to another NFL team. Okay? So that isn't a failed draft pick to me. Just because a guy beats a guy out on the roster, that's not a failed draft pick if somebody else picks him up and he's still playing in the league. So it's like, besides Trinity Benson, there you go. Trinity Benson. Is that it? Is that it? Lions fans are so funny to me. Nothing against, I'm not pointing Detroit fan man out here at all, but Lion fans are so funny in comparison to other fan bases. I mean, the Lions, it's like the Lions fans are conditioned so hard to PTSOL, and you don't even realize it. Like a statement like that, we point out Trinity Benson out of 4 draft classes, undrafted free agents, like moves that they've made on the back end of the roster that have worked out, player after player that have worked out, and we bring up Trinity Benson. And that's okay, because that's what Lion fans do. But the Bear fans, they draft Caleb Williams, and they do the same thing that they do every time they get a quarterback. Oh, 15-2, you guys better watch out. You're done now. I mean, Lions have the most complete roster I've ever seen in my life. And the Lion fan is still like, I wonder. I mean, Trinity Benson didn't work out. I mean, what other one? Do we have any other ones besides Trinity Benson? Let's see if we can't come up with a couple of guys that we would really have to go. Detroit Fan Man says, with Jonah Jackson coming off injury now to start, with Jonah Jackson coming off injury to now start at center while left tackle is suspended for 2 weeks, I simply cannot wait to see Levi, Hutch, Aleem take this taped together O-line to task for 4 quarters. And that is such a good point, Detroit Fan Man. That is such a good point, because why wouldn't you really even talk about that? We're talking about this Sunday night, this game, this epic game. And as long as the Lions don't go in with any super injuries, they should dominate this game on the line of scrimmage, both sides of the ball. I mean, our offensive line against 2 rookies and a second-year player on there, no Aaron Donald, no middle linebacker that they just traded to Tennessee. It's like this team became Swiss cheese almost overnight when it seems like this. And honestly, it's like we haven't done our predictions yet or anything. Mike and I are going to do that next week on Thursday, but I don't see how the Rams can win this game. Honestly. I mean, pick me a way that you think that the Rams can win this game. Like, the Lions are coming in relatively healthy coming in, especially if DJ Reader ends up starting the game. As a matter of fact, they might even be able to give him an extra week to rest and let these other guys go through because they ain't got anybody to protect Stafford. It might be a massacre out there. All those Stafford fans, man, you may want to DVR that and fast forward through the ugly parts so you don't have to show your children what's going to happen to Matt Stafford on opening night. Big M, Brad Holmes traded away draft picks for a couple receivers that haven't worked out. I much rather have Brad use those picks in the draft. A couple of receivers that are we still talking about Trinity Benson here? Are we really still talking about Trinity Benson here out of all these things that they just did? It's amazing to me. Lion fans are so scared I like all these things. Like, we're going to look at 275 great things that Brad Holmes has done and be like, the guy in the back of the room's like, what about Trinity Benson? Nobody's talking about Trinity Benson. Yeah, nobody's talking about Trinity Benson. Nobody cares that Trinity Benson. I think that he was even injured when it came down to that. 3 UDFAs made the 53-man roster. That speaks volumes about this team right there. It's proof. Our trades that we've made over 3 years for players, they've been underwhelming when compared to our draft picks and UDFAs. Yeah, Brad Holmes uses every single asset that he can use to make the team better. And they don't all work. I mean, some of these things, when you're talking waiver wire claims, some of these back-end practice squad moves, some of these things don't work. Some of these things don't work. And Trinity Benson was such a 2021 thing. You got to remember, in 2021, the Lions, I mean, I think they had more undrafted free agents in 2021 than they had veteran players. And that was because they cut Trey Flowers, they cut Jamie Collins in the middle of the season, and they had so much dead cap, the Stafford dead cap. It's a good thing that Jared Goff's dead cap was taken by the Rams, and we had to eat Stafford's dead cap for a year, and we were $50 million behind the 8 ball to even start the season. So 2021's roster was compiled of a bunch of UDFAs, factory workers, some cab drivers, and they pieced it together. There was only a couple veteran, actual NFL football players on that team. And Dan Campbell gets the most out of them. That's the other thing. Jonah Jackson is healthy. Give it 2 snaps. 2 snaps and a twist. The Rams are making Kyron Williams a returner. He already got hurt last year. I don't know. I don't know what Sean McVay's doing over there, man. Trinity Benson, Brock, Michael Brockers, and DPJ. The results are underwhelming with our trades for players. Okay. But it goes to the point that I was talking about earlier is you take chances on trades. The thing is like when you're trading for people that are outside of the organization, obviously it's going to be underwhelming. It's going to be underwhelming. And right there, Trinity Benson, Brock Bowers, or Michael Brockers, I said Brock Bowers, are in that 2021 class. Brad Holmes was just trying to put together a football 53 people. They weren't even NFL football players, putting 53 people on a roster because, I mean, that's what you got to do. So you got to do what you got to do. So, I mean, if what we're trying to do here today is to poke holes in Brad Holmes and talk about the bad things that he had done, I think it's kind of a waste of time in there if we're talking about these guys. But look at all the great things that he did do. You want to talk about, let's talk about that instead. Let's talk about how the Lions can draft and develop players. Let's talk about how the Lions can get a guy like Derek Barnes in the 4th round of the first year and take Ifeatu Melifonwu and at the end of the 3rd round in the first year, and Levi Onwuzurike in that year. And I won't say Levi Onwuzurike because he hasn't proved it yet. But what about the other guys? Right? Aleem McNeil. After the first year Aleem McNeil played, a lot of people were talking about how that was a bust of a pick. That he was an average player in the 3rd round. Okay, you got yourself an okay starter right there. But look at how the Lions can draft and develop players, especially going into the 3rd year. Derek Barnes, Andy Fatu. Jeremy, you and I were on this show last year in training camp talking about how is Ifeatu Melifonwu going to make the roster? Is Ifeatu Melifonwu going to make the roster? And we didn't know. He was one of those back end of the rosters. You like Brandon Joseph last year. We thought that one of these guys could actually beat out Ifeatu Melifonwu. And look at what Ifeatu Melifonwu did. Look at what Derek Barnes did. Derek Barnes was all but given up on. He's just a fast guy, right? It's like we talked about this. And they can develop players. Yeah, of course some of these guys aren't going to work out. You trade for players. The trade shouldn't work out as much as developing your own players, right? Trades and bringing in free agents from the outside, that's Band-Aids, man. Those are Band-Aids. You can't fix that. The ones that you get that you want to have on your team are the stitches. The stitches, the ones that dig down deep into and close those wounds up so they can heal. That's Josh Pascal. That's Levi Onwuzurike. We can expect things from Lions players in, the 3rd and 4th year. And we know we have a track record. We have seen it happen. It isn't just, hey, I certainly hope we can draft and develop some players. No, they've drafted and developed players. They've drafted players that we've given up on that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have developed into high-quality players. Derek Barnes is a high-quality linebacker in the NFL now. Brandon Joseph, there's another great example, okay? Brandon Joseph made this 53-man roster, and we talked about it last year. Jeremy, Brandon Joseph, right? Maybe we're just a year off on these guys. 1 year off, right? We gave them some adoration in 2023 that we should just be giving them right here, because what did Brandon Joseph do? Brandon Joseph didn't cry about it. He didn't make the roster, but you know what he did? He came onto the practice squad. Craig Reynolds trying to make a 53-man roster. Didn't make the 53-man roster last year. He makes the 53-man roster this year because we reward players that work hard here, and we don't go to get the big high-priced dude from the outside to come in and fix this team. Band-Aids. Right now, DJ Reader is an outsider, but he's a great Band-Aid. I mean, if he comes in and he's the type of player that he was the last time he wore a quad, that's going to be a great player on this team. And maybe he'll earn, an extension beyond that and become one of our grit core players. But the core of the Lions team is set through draft picks and development. When you look at all of these players, like the thing when I'm looking at like the over the cap, when you look at how we're going to be so screwed in the next couple of years because of these contracts. And it's not true. It's not true at all. I don't know what the Lions are down to 31 million. Did the Lions do something today? I'm looking at the players here, and I don't know if they paid some peeps or did something, but they're down to 31 million. I don't know what happened, and maybe it's just paying all the practice squad players. Is that what it is? But even at that, I'm looking at over the cap right now, and let's look at 2026, and I'm just gonna right here before we get rid of all of these Huddle Sports Network. Let me say this real quick right here. All my Huddle Sports Network people, the people that watch on Roku, and we'll get back to that thought here in a second. The ones that are watching on Roku right there, we're going to lose you here at 11 o'clock. And I want to give you the opportunity to come over to the YouTube channel. And let me explain something to you about our YouTube channel versus our Facebook. Now, the YouTube isn't my real cool opportunity song that I love having open up the show. Facebook are buttholes. Facebook are buttholes, and they tell me that the meta rights and something in the other country, I got to delete that broadcast. When we're done on Facebook and you put a comment on our Facebook, it's going to get deleted because I have to delete the program because they're copywriting it. So if you go over to the YouTube channel, this stays out there forever. YouTube is doing the right thing because I pay for these copyright rights, and YouTube is the only one that's honoring it right now. So if you want your comment to stay in the Villain Squad, lore forever, then you got to go to the YouTube channel and hit the like button. So there you go. Or on JC Sports. JC Sports will also be able to do that. But we're going to lose all of our Huddle Sports Network, guys. And we want to invite you to come over to the YouTube channel because at 11 o'clock, the Huddle Sports Network turns into a pumpkin. And then Ken and Ken start their morning show, which is all Bear Homer stuff. So if you're a Bear fan, you'll probably like that because they're going to talk about Bear Homer stuff like I'm on here talking about Lions Homer stuff. So I can admit that all the Bear fans are homers, but we're homers too. But we still suffer from a little bit of that PTSOL. Like, we're not out there. We actually went to the NFC Championship game, and I know that Lion fan is still reluctant to use the word Super Bowl and the Lions in the same sentence. The Bear fans, they draft a quarterback number 1 overall, and they instantly think 15-2, and we're going to kick everybody's butt. And they don't mind that they get egg on their face. Whoops, whoops, year after year after year. Wrong. We don't even have a winning season. Not 15-2. Not beating the Green Bay Packers. Egg all over your face. We can't even trust anything. Even if you're right about Caleb Williams, we're going to be like the boy that cried bear. Oh, okay. You finally got one. Well, for 30 years, if you just say, yeah, we're going to go 15-2 for 30 years, and then you finally do it, we're going to be like, okay, well, you say the same damn thing every year. Lion fan ain't like that. Lion fan is so scared of his own shadow that we can have the best roster that we've ever had in our lifetime, and we go, I don't know. What about Trinity Benson? What about wide receiver 5? What are we going to do? What are we going to do if 17 guys get injured? Okay. Well, what is any team going to do when 17 guys get injured? So let's just say we're not going to talk about the injuries on this show that haven't happened yet. Okay. So goodbye to Huddle Sports Network. Welcome to everybody that came over to the YouTube channel. Okay. Now, what were we talking about? All right, let's get back into these comments right here. Every fan has homer. Every fan base has homers. Some are more hater than positive, though. Yep. We have been battling. Jeremy and I have been battling people. Michael and I have been battling people on our podcasts for years. And it is nice that finally the worst criticism that somebody can come up with is, what about Trinity Benson and Michael Brockers? And we don't get we usually have to battle against the rival fans. and the PTSOL fans. And when you're doing a podcast and it's like, getting hit all over the place from rival fans. As a matter of fact, the rival fans used to be a lot nicer to us. The fact that you guys are getting mean is telling me that you're a little bit scared out there, that the Bears are scared for real, because you have to come onto my show that is a Lions-based show and talk trash. When you have to do that, it shows me, because in 2021, Bear fan, Packer fan, and Viking fan used to sound a little bit like this. Oh, man, I've been wanting you guys to do something good for a while. Man, you guys are such good fans. You guys deserve to have a winning season every once in a while. We feel for you. We're behind you. That's what it used to sound like. Isn't it the most beautiful sound, Jeremy, to listen to all these Packer fans and all these Bear fans come in with their you ain't ever gonna do it type of talk, where they're not backing us up. They got real venom. They got real venom. They got real venom in their skin now. And they want to talk about, you're never gonna beat us. You're never gonna do it. And it's music to my ears. It is definitely music to my ears, because the other thing made me way more mad. Rival fans sympathizing with us. Oh, we feel bad for you guys. I hated that more than anything else. The fact that they're coming in like, you ain't gonna do nothing. What happened on Thanksgiving last year? And it's like, we acknowledged that. The Lion fan acknowledges that we lost on Thanksgiving. But Packer fan didn't acknowledge the ass whooping that we put on them in Lambeau earlier in the season when they went into witness protection, when we destroyed their team. They only want to talk about the wins, where Mike and I come onto this program every day, win or lose, and we take our medicine if we lose. You come on, you get your week. When you win in the NFL, you get 6 days of dun 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 dun. We won. I don't allow any of that nonsense on here. You're gonna come in and put down my win, and you're gonna try to come in here and try to justify your loss while you're putting down my win. We won. And when you came in, you won on Thanksgiving. First thing we came in here, we gave you the props. You won the game. We didn't make any excuses about that. There's no excuses. Lost the game. And that's what good teams should do, right? If you guys want to prove that you're one of the threats in the NFC North, you got to at least split with all the teams in the North, And I've never seen a Green Bay Packer fan base brag so much about splitting with a team in my life. Like you want to say that you're a better team than us when you didn't finish with a better record. You didn't get further in the playoffs. The Lions were the better team last year. The NFC North villain. And that's what it feels good to be, the villain. I love that you hate us. I love that you hate on us. Our football team. We love it. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel like we've arrived. So when you come in with all your trash and you talk all the trash, you're just building me up. Finally, we've arrived. We've arrived. Talk some trash. Bring it. Bring it. Watch out this year. Thanksgiving will be a great day in Detroit this year. Well, it's been a tradition for years, Brent, that the Lions lose on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a scary game. That's a PTSOL moment for me. The Lions got to prove that they can win on Thanksgiving. They got to prove that they can win on Thanksgiving. I mean, I would love to think that we're going to win this year. It feels good. It is the Bears this year. And, that's through the season. That gives Caleb Williams enough time to do some stuff, to actually get some experience. So we're going to get a pro-ready version of Caleb Williams, whatever that is, by the time we play him on Thanksgiving. So I'm not willing to call that game a gimme quite yet. Jeremy B says the Packers. Thanksgiving was the Packers Super Bowl because they didn't realize they beat us with only 2 guys in their starting positions on the O-line. We only had 2 starters. That is true. That is true. I know Taylor Decker started that game after an injury, but he didn't come back and he wasn't fully. He ended up missing games after that. So I feel you on there. But that we don't want to borderline give excuses. That almost sounds like an excuse, Jeremy. Almost sound. Even though it's rooted in truth, we got to be careful that we don't make excuses for the loss. They lost the game. The Packers came in. LaFleur had a game plan to catch us off guard, and it worked. They jumped out on us, and they deserved that win. 100%, Russ. The other 50% of the year they forgot about. Yeah, they weren't a witness protection. I think they only believe that they played 10 games last year because that's all I hear about was the final 10 games. Oh, wow. Sure. Oh, my God. Jordan Love. He was so good down the stretch. What did you guys say to us last year before that when the Lions went 8-2 down the stretch and beat the Packers on last game, eliminated from the play? What did they say? Oh, yeah, pump the brakes. It's only 10 games. So that's what I'm going to say about your 10 games, Green Bay Packer fan. I'm going to say this. Pump the brakes. You got a new defensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator doesn't coach the offense. Jordan Love could be really, really, really good. But you're switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3. In the same offseason. And the defensive coordinator that's switching that team to a 4-3 doesn't have NFL experience. As a matter of fact, he's Matt LaFleur's buddy. And we all know what Matt LaFleur had to say about that. Oh, so that's what you mean about your new 4-3 defense. So we're just all supposed to expect Jordan Love to keep it up, and he's just going to be the MVP, just like Mina Kimes says. We got to watch out for them. And then this defense is just going to magically gel under a new defensive coordinator that doesn't have any NFL experience. That's an interesting theory that's rooted in hopium. Right? The Lions have a team of a whole bunch of badasses that were actually in the NFC Championship last year. And by the way, they're young. Do you want to see any of these guys this year? Do you really want to see Aiden Hutchinson this year? You really want to see an on-steroid version of Jared Goff this year? Because to me, the hate on Goff should be done. Like, all he does is prove you wrong. And like, you want to talk to me about Jared Goff in a Super Bowl game where he only scored 3 points. There's one of your chips. And then you want to bring up the 2021 version of Jared Goff who got to play with some cab drivers and some factory workers throwing the ball to, Quintez Cephas. I mean, who is he throwing the ball to? It wasn't NFL players. Trinity Benson, you know, he is on a different level now. And if you want to dismiss the 8-2 down the stretch 2022, well, just look at the next year with 4,500 yards. Jared Goff has elevated his game and progressed. You act like he's an old quarterback, these people that down on Jared Goff. He's not an old quarterback. He's still learning new things. He's going to be the most seasoned quarterback in the NFC North by far. None of the other, I mean, you got Jordan Love going into his second season. Caleb Williams never taken a snap before in his life. Sam Darnold's never played for anybody. Jared Goff going into the fourth year, and actually the third year of a Ben Johnson system. Which, who's Ben Johnson? Oh, I don't know. The best offensive coordinator in the NFL? I mean, argue it. But I'm feeling really, really good about this Lions team here because it takes more. They didn't take it for granted going to the NFC Championship. They worked even harder going into this offseason. This has been the mantra the entire offseason. So, Jeremy, we're leading the charge here, Jeremy, when it comes to the new Lion fan base right here. We're trying to tell people to not have PTSOL, but the only cure for PTSOL, as we know, is winning. Post-traumatic, same old Lions. And that's a registered name. Registered name here at the Villain Squad, PTSOL, post-traumatic, same old Lions. And that's what we're feeling. When we bring up stuff about Trinity Benson, we're really just having PTSOL. When you're trying to micromanage the roster additions or try to bring up a stat from Jared Goff from 5 years ago is the reason that you don't believe in him, that's just PTSOL. And if you suffer from PTSOL, you could be entitled to compensation. I don't know what the compensation would be. Maybe a couple winning games. You have to watch the Lions win for a minute. Oh, man. I will say this. Best weapons Darnold has ever had. Darnold has ever had. He hasn't had anywhere near this before. I was going to bring up the trades to prove your point about our scouting. Sure. Fred Peterson said, did YouTube pull my comment? LOL, it wasn't that bad. Maybe I enticed violence, but it wasn't meant literally. I don't know. I don't know what rules PT or what YouTube has on there. Yeah, just be careful on those. You know, we got a page shut down and we got kicked out of the program on Facebook before because I put up a picture of Dan Campbell that talked and it had the Liam Neeson says, I will find you and I will kill you from the Taken movie. And they incited me for trying to start a riot because I used the word kill in the post, and it got reported, and they shut our page down for about 2 weeks off of that. And actually the stupid thing is still hovering over our page too. So you got to be careful with stuff like that. So I'm sorry if you can't get a little more colorful on those comments and everything like that. But I'm getting to the end of this right here. It's 11:15. About ready to turn into a pumpkin. Do all that stuff. Where's that music at? Oh, there it is. Once again, my villains come through. The villains come through. We have a great conversation today about the Detroit Lions. Once again, it's the Villain Report. You can join me every day at 10 a.m. Except for Sundays, of course. That'll be game day. I'm going to be broadcasting the game live, and I'm going to have to do it with audio, guys. I'm not going to take a chance by throwing the stream out there, being able to see it. I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose the YouTube page. I think that we took a chance on that. That last the Villain Cast was awesome. I loved it, but we're not going to be able to show it. We're going to do it from an audio form, and I hope that you guys will join us when we do that. But this is the Villain Report. Make sure that you join Michael on Monday nights. Main Event Mike. Lions off-seasons rumors and signings every Monday at 7 p.m. He'll be doing a review of the week. I can't believe we're almost ready for football, guys. This is the last weekend where we won't have a real football game for like 4 months. Isn't that awesome? That's awesome. So we've been broadcasting live into the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page. Thank you to the ones that are following and getting us to 53,000. Get us to 53,000. If you haven't followed the page, go follow the page. Hit the like button on the video that you're watching right now because it helps us out. And it's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Go hit up that YouTube page. Hit the subscribe button on JC Sports and the Villain Squad. Go over and say hello to the Detroit Lions News Podcast, Joe Chap and the boys. Go say hello. It's faith, family, and then football. That's why we can come on here and talk a little bit of trash about these Packer fans and their stupid team. We don't like your stupid team. We don't like the Bears. The Bears. Hey, we drafted a quarterback. We're going 15-2. Let's go. Bear down. Your team's dumb. It's a dumb take. Dumb take. Predicting 15-2 every freaking year. They do have a couple Bear fans that have some sense out there. Bear down Mike the Bear fan, Broski, C&G podcast. We love our Bear guys. But it's faith, family, and then football. We can love on the people. I love those guys. I love all of those guys. I just hate your football team. It's okay. It's because it's faith, family, and then football. We use football to spend time with our family. We use football to create memories with the people that we love. We don't let football use us. Not here. Not on the Villain Squad. I'll leave you with this. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again for Football Talk with Russell Wayne. Lion Villain Report. Peace out.
Hey, yo, the lies told that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose, move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never the sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning, it's crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.